What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of 4 Dummies, and tonight I'm joined with the other 3 dummies. I have Mr. Robert Detoff.
Hello!
I have Mr. Just One.
Hey, what's happening?
And I have Mrs. Skullface.
Hello.
And tonight we are going to continue with our collection critique, but tonight we are going to do 5. Our 5th is going to be a special entry. But before we get to the 5th, we're going to start with the first, which is Nelson C. You know the routine, ladies and gents. Leave your feelings at the door. So this is tricky for me.
Because it's clearly very organized.
This is tricky for me because I don't exactly know what I'm looking at. I want to start with these Pops. He has a large Funko Pops collection. What I think is interesting about that is I think you can have a Pops collection that looks really good. But I think in order for it to look really good, you have to see the front of the box.
Oh, versus just the artwork on the back.
But what he has chosen is the side of the box, I believe. And the reason why he has chosen this, in my opinion,
because you can get more on the shelf.
Because he can get more on the shelf. Yeah. And as a result, the shelves look tight, cool, clean, polished, etc. But you don't get to see the actual figure. So at this point, it's like, I don't even know exactly what it is that you've bought.
I just want to run right into that wall of boxes.
So I'll tell you, in looking at it, like, it's not bad. It just lacks some kind of personality. Not personality is not the right word. It just is missing something by doing that. Right. It's just missing something. And I don't know what it is, but it's not bad because, I mean, the collection's not, everything's displayed really nice. This guy put in a ton of work, or gal, whoever.
Yeah.
This person put in a ton of work. I don't know. It just feels like it's missing something.
He's obviously like a video game fan, right? And like a lot of the video game stuff, like all those little pieces that are like the little players in the games that are on risers that are lit, you know, all the things that we kind of talk about, right? He did it, you know.
That looks good. That's the best part of it.
And then in the same breath, like even the Detoff where he's got like the little like Luigi, like the Ghostbuster Luigi with the thing above that. But if you look at the glass, he's blacked out the glass. Like he's taken a lot of things that we kind of say and talk about into consideration with this. Like, right. I think that my man is kind of stuck in the space that he's dealing with. And as a result, with the amount of interest in sort of collectibles that he has, he's done, I probably think, the very best you can with this space. With this space.
No, not with the Pops. I think what he should do is stick them to the ceiling or something. Like, really, Pops don't display well in box. Like
they do, like, but you got to see inside that. You got to see inside the box. When you don't see inside the box, it doesn't work.
The only reason why I disagree is the worst looking ones are the Star Wars ones on top that you can see in the box.
But that's because they're not organized. They're haphazard.
Maybe so. Your collection's nice, man. It's put together nice. Are the Transformers ones part of it too?
Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about the Transformers ones, because like the Nintendo ones, like that, like all that, like dude, the Pops thing, you got to work out. It's like, you know what to do. You just got to sort it out. Moving on to the Transformers ones.
That's where it falls apart.
This is where it falls apart.
Too many. Way too many.
It's too many, and it's what's up about it is there's too many and there's empty shelves.
Well, I was going to say those are the best looking shelves.
You know, spread those units out.
So this is all like Hasbro. This is all mainline stuff then, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't make it inherent.
It's bad, but
all these shelves where you have stuff just in front of it and just beside it, and it all kind of blends in and becomes kind of one large mass. Just split it up and put it in these separate shelves. Like, but I may be saving these shelves for these other things. Well, okay, well let's cross that bridge when we get there. But for right now, let's just make this look good.
I don't know. I feel like maybe one of you can't pose these figures. So I'm thinking just shooting from the hip here. It would almost look better if you're gonna have figures that are only up and down that don't really look good crammed together. Just customize a wall of stasis pods and put them in their own stasis pods, and they're all over your wall like Pops. You know, because at least that gives them some character.
I get it.
You know, I'm going to give you a different opinion. I think that based on what I'm seeing, and maybe doesn't look like your love is for Transformers. You have a bunch of them, but there's no love into the... So maybe just sell them and put it more towards the stuff that you do care about.
Yeah, you don't love Transformers the way that you love Nintendo.
he obviously has room for more pops over where the Transformers are.
Or pops. Yeah, honestly, it'd be better off. I'd rather see the pops boxes in this than these Transformers.
But also, if you split up these Transformers and pose them, they're going to look better.
You can tell the dude loves his Top Gun and he loves his Quintesson, right? Because they're still in the box.
Yeah.
And I think that the video game stuff is, obviously neatly organized, but I also think it's disappointing just to see the sides of the boxes. Are these pops that are on the risers?
No, those are the game pieces that like you played Nintendo.
Oh, like
that becomes your character that you play with.
Meebos, yeah. So I mean, I think
cool.
it looks. At least it looks together. It looks organized, but yeah, it's disappointing to me to just see the side of a box. The Transformers are a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, not a physical mess. Like, obviously, you have them all standing
oh my God.
neatly,
it's
but
a
like
spiritual mess.
it's a spiritual mess. It's overwhelming. It's too much.
Let's move on to the next one. This is from Moo's Crew. If you look at the last picture, that's, I think, an attempt to kind of capture the whole space, and it's not awful. At least the figures are spaced out. They're posed. There are risers. There are some backgrounds. I would imagine that his intention is to include more backgrounds. He has the large figures at the top. I would probably think it would look better reversed. But this isn't an awful layout. And then everything else after that is kind of pictures of isolated shelves.
One thing that's standing out to me, ironically, is his risers, and he obviously covered them in printer paper to try to make them blend into the white background.
Correct.
But I think all that he's done is make it look like they're in a catering hall.
I know what you mean.
Like they you gotta go with clear or something. Man, you can't do that.
They're not risers. I think he's just using boxes and he's wrapping. I mean,
I saw some Apple boxes.
I think he took it to another level to like wrap the box.
No pun intended with the riser. He took it to another level.
I definitely think that when you see it all, like Bobby said in this last photo, it's not bad. I see what you're doing. I just think you got to keep pushing it. This looks like somebody's obviously just, I don't know. I think just keep pushing whatever it is that you're doing. You're making attempts and you're moving in the right way. You just need to elevate it now.
And I think that you are right. However, I do have a cold, hard truth that I got to drop on you.
It's that Devastator on the left.
And it may hurt.
Christmas tree.
It may hurt.
Christmas tree behind Grimlock.
No, I'm okay with it. I'm a Christmas fan. The issue is you have some really big shelves with some really small figures. And as a result, I'll be honest with you, I thought these were legends before I was corrected that they were not. These look like IKEA Billies to me. You can get additional IKEA Billy shelves. I would consider making smaller shelves with these to kind of tighten up the spots and allow, because there's a lot of places where you have huge vertical space. Like if I'm looking at the ones where you have like Sunstreaker, the red Sunstreaker, and he's fighting a Starscream and a Shockwave or whatever, like huge empty space of white that just is filled up with nothing. Like there's just a lot of those types of shelves. So like I would suggest maybe scaling the shelves down to try to make the figures look more impactful to their space.
But speaking of which, I will give him this. I feel that the lighting in his room is pretty good.
Yeah, I would say that. I would like without any additional lighting to the shelves, they're really well lit.
But if he's going to do what you're suggesting, and he may need to do that here and there, he's going to have to change his lighting. Because it's going to ruin the lighting.
Let's move on to the next one. This is Matt H, but I don't believe it's my Matt H. I believe it is another Matt H, and I don't think it's hateful. Some of the detail shelves work better than others.
Same comments, get them up.
Yeah, you gotta lift some of them up and stuff, but like this is a very tight, clean, focused Transformers collection.
Yeah,
dude, look how low.
One small shelf though is just too much.
How tall?
It's the G1 stuff.
Yeah, it's the G1 stuff, but I don't even think that's hateful given what it is. Put Swoop in the middle of those Dinobots.
Is this guy in a crawl space? Look at his ceiling.
6 foot ceiling.
It was like a basement then.
Yeah, it's probably it might be an older house in a basement. But even like that, like they would probably look better lifted up. But with the comic books that are kind of like framed and graded with the kind of like 1 or 2 pieces at the top with them, I think that's a pretty classy way to handle it.
I love seeing comic book art on a shelf. I love seeing that.
But it's not overly jam-packed. It's enough. It's lit really well. Like, it looks nice. It looks classy.
Yeah, the G1 shelf is overly packed, but because it's G1, I don't hate it.
I feel bad about that Omega. He's like, huh? Like he has to pretend he's stooping in for a question so he fits.
Yeah, we said, what'd you say?
I'm sorry. Was that Devastator? What'd you say?
But like, if you look at the Detolf shelves, like the ones with all the comics, I think work pretty well. You know, he's got a comic book in all of them. I think that the Detolf on the left, like I think overall works a little bit better than the Detolf on the right. But that's namely because of just risers and stuff. Like the same stuff that he used on the left, he just needs to use on the right. Get Shockwave up a little bit, get Soundwave up a little bit.
It's the Soundwave shelf that kind of ruins that right side.
Yeah.
It seems emptier.
Well, Prime can go up higher too. There's a formula. What makes some of these shelves look good? You got the comic. You've got certain things you've got risers. So you got the Sunstreaker comic. You got the space is filled in some way. Like Skywarp fills the space. He doesn't need a riser, and you got a comic. Prime should be on a riser on the right, like you said. Soundwave, if he was on a riser, it would work better. You follow your own formula. Just double click your Amazon order and get more risers.
And I'll tell you, there's a word that comes to mind in regards to this Transformer collection that doesn't come to my mind too often with Transformers collections, and that is concise. Mm-hmm. It's pretty concise.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not mad at it. It presents better.
I honestly think you should get rid of the G1 shelf altogether and even just put that Omega Supreme on a riser.
Or stand him up at least. Guy's back is killing him.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree. Like the G1 is kind of like I get because the G1 shelf, if you look at it, it's so random. There's like some mini bots, the Sideswipe, Blur, some Computron pieces, some Terracons. My guess is these are his pieces from childhood.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, what I would do is I would put Blaster, because what he has here is Decepticons on one side and Autobots on the other, and it looks off balance. I would put Blaster on the right and keep this Jetfire or whatever on the left and kind of like make it look like a U shape there.
Yeah.
But like
you could flip flop it and just put the Autobots on the other side because the swoop is on for the Dinobots is on that side. It'll balance out a little bit just in that alone.
I'll be honest with you, like you don't have the most impressive collection quantity wise. That's like, but at the same breath, you've taken what you do have and you have a more concise, more aesthetically pleasing collection than most Transformer collections we look at.
Yeah.
Our second to last one, if you will. This is only 2 photos, so it shouldn't take too long. At Addicted Collectibles. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's pretty good. Now, he's got Detolfs. He's made some alterations to them. I think some of them look better than others. The one that jumps out to me as being one of the better ones is the one with Slave 1 in it, with the Boba Fett helmet underneath and the Mandalorian up top. You know, I think the ones that don't work as well, unfortunately, are once again the Transformer ones. And also, you know, the Dragon Ball Z one looks a little crunched.
Well, I mean, look, he's got looks like the 3-0 Prime down on the bottom right. And it's like, well, I don't have any room, so I'm going to put all my primes here. And 3-0 Prime, if that's what that one is, whatever it is, it's one of those high-end, highly articulated Bumblebee movie primes. Like, that thing deserves its own shelf. Mm-hmm. That's it. You can't, it doesn't matter that you have more than one Prime. It doesn't matter that you have more than one Bumblebee. Like, you're doing that display piece a disservice.
Well, so I agree with you, but because I think he's overdone it. But I also think if he had that 3-0 Prime, the MP10, and one Legends Prime, that's a fantastic Prime shelf.
Okay. I see.
You know, like I think there's a lot of those type of decisions, but there's a lot, like I love the Kylo Ren lightsaber with the couple figures in the back. You know, I love like a lot of the helmet stuff that he has around it. Like, I think this is a pretty sharp collection. Now, if you look at the second picture, this is where my confusion starts to arise. Now, these figures that are in here, like the Astra Train shelf with the Omega Supreme all the way to the right, my issue is like you have arguably fantastic display cabinets for a masterpiece collection that we usually don't see, and you've put little figures in them. There's nothing wrong with owning little figures. They just are impossible to display in any sort of meaningful way 9 times out of 10. And unfortunately, yours is in the 9 times, not in the 1%. You got to do better in this space.
Yeah, look, there's a pile in the middle. What's that pile? That's my shelf.
You've got fantastic shelves. They're all lit with the exception of those two in the left-hand corner. They're all lit. You got to do something with those wires that are all hanging out. This space deserves great things in it. And right now, I'm not sure if that's what you've got in it.
But look at the shelf above the Omega Supreme. It works better. It works better because the space is narrow.
You've got great furniture here. You've got great lighting. You don't have pieces that meet it. This is like having an SH Figuarts inside a Maja case.
That's why I think it's in flux, man, because he knows how to set up a display. We saw it in the picture before that. So I just think it's like, hey, I'm also working on this. Here's my collection. And then I'm working on this.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's like it really is. It really is. Looking at it, it's like you know better, and we know you know better.
The cream of the crop that rises to the top is that Lego Star Destroyer up top.
Looks fantastic.
Yeah.
We have one last entry. Are you ready? And this is from Jaina Q.
We gotta be fair.
Gotta be fair. So I am biased, of course. I don't think she's done a terrible job, man.
No, I'll tell you, I've always thought, especially because I saw you do it down in the office, but the books with the figures then in front of it is cool.
Well, I would respectfully submit that if let's say I don't know who this person is, I would say that this is a library, a very impressive library with collectible accents.
Yeah, so her, in all fairness, like she is a book collector over a figure.
Yeah, no,
collector.
this is impressed, but as a display, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I think if you look at like the way that she's turned some of the books forward versus, you know what I mean? Like I think that's the right choice. I also think that if you turn the book sideways and you put some of the statues that they fit in those open gaps, that would be good as well.
Right.
God, and the pressure she must have been under.
and I'll tell you, like Jaina, all that
superfluous
that you got going on the left and right on the floor, get it off the floor.
What's up with that hanger?
Clean your room.
Clean your room. Now, like, there's another thing. If you look at like the picture that has the whole shelf in it, if you look at like the upper right hand corner, she's a big Lock and Key fan, and those are like all the keys from Lock and Key. Tyler, the collector, printed those for her. She painted them all, and her and Laura put them in that little shadow box.
Wow.
Like, if you look at the second shelf down, right, she's got these little pieces. There's like the girl sitting on the shelf, which I do think actually works, and then there's the other one that's kind of
she kind of gets lost in there.
Yeah, well, I wonder if she would fit on top of the books.
You know, about the one with like the blue swoosh.
Yeah, the one with the blue swoosh on top of the books, and the
color. It's because it's a dark color, and you got dark books.
Yeah, and I wonder if the girl sitting on top of the books with her legs like hanging over the books wouldn't look more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You lose that depth, though. It's the depth of having the figure in the front or the statue in the front that's cool, at least for me.
It is, but you also lose the magnitude of the collection of books.
I also wonder if there's something to say about having, like, going from the top to the bottom. You've got two figures towards the inside, the midline, then two figures toward the midline, then two figures on the outside, two figures outside.
Yeah.
It needs them to be mixed up a bit, I think.
And I'll also tell her the statues that she has on top, don't line them up one in front of the other. I know you want two versions of each character. I get that, but you have to off-center them. You can't have one right directly behind the other. You're going to have to put one offset between the one in the back shelf and then the one in front, and then et cetera, et cetera. That same picture, if you look at it with those statues just in and of themselves, there's two pigs giving each other a kiss. That was done by my sister-in-law.
Like
really?
Big, because that's cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, so with these statues, I guess I'm going to call them statues, but the one are these characters from the books that they're in front of? Like, do they have to go?
So I think so.
Okay.
Yes, I think for the most part they are.
Which would make sense, but then it's not, because then you're kind of limited now on where you can move stuff.
And to be fair, she would do better with bigger furniture, but I'm not paying for it. You know what I mean?
She's waiting for you to upgrade.
You know, but maybe a white Billy or something might work a little bit better.
I like the display. I like the case.
No, I think she does.
I do think, the weakest of those cubes is that one, the girl that's floating on the blue blade or whatever it is.
Yeah, but I also feel like a lot of the characters, to be fair, get lost with the books behind them. Like they'll look better if they don't have to compete with space with the books. So like even if
then it's not as interesting though. It's not as interesting if it's just those individual.
No. What I'm saying is like if you look at like the character with the blue swoosh, right? If you look at the shelf underneath that, she has the one book with the pink hair kind of facing forward. If she faced that inward, would there be enough space to fit this statue of the girl with the black dress to one side or the other?
Oh, right. Yeah, so that may work. You're right. You put all the books to the left and
correct.
You put that girl just in the place to the right. Yeah, that may be better for that one. And I don't think it has to be, she doesn't have to do it with each one. It may just work.
Yeah.
We're treat each cube as its individual
where the logistics allow.
Right.
No, I mean, I think it looks beautiful. I do. I mean, I think it looks clean. I think it looks...
No helpful hints to add.
No, I think that one statue is lost. I agree with that. And maybe arguably even the one below it also kind of blends in a little bit. The boxes to the right, which are like the boxes for her box sets, didn't bother me so much, but the book on the left definitely. Like when I saw it, I was like, why didn't you move that?
She's going to get beat with that hanger later.
I'm not sure what book that is. Yeah, and the hanger. It was so funny. Demon Slayer.
A lock and a key.
A lot of wires.
Netflix.
Hanging around.
Hangers.